All right. You ready, Banner?
Yeah, we're rolling, man. We've been recording for 12 minutes 45 seconds now.
All right. Well, at the 12:52 mark, we start.
Okay, ready? Action.
I used to use this little gun when I was a prostitute. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast. We are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek, the mayor. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. This is our 76th episode. I don't know if I said that off the top, or if you've been counting at home, then you probably know that. Or if you listen to us from a prison cell and you do that really classic prison trope where you like carve uh, the tally marks into your jail cell, and the prison guard's like, "What the fuck are those?" You're like, "It's how many episodes of the Bro 4 Squad podcast there are." Before we get started, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go into the lab to the mad scientist Brian Banner. All right, Banner. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Current version of Cher, Hulk Hogan, and 1989 version of Cher.
Mary Cher, kill 1989, fuck the Hulk.
Okay. You know what? One thing I hate when people do fuck, marry, kill, when the person they pick to marry, they're like, so I could fuck her more. It's like, no,
No,
if you want to just
that
fuck
doesn't
her.
count.
obviously you've never been married then.
Yeah. Oh, man, how can I stop that? Next, we go into the paint to our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Matt, how much leather is too much leather to wear out to the bar on a Friday night?
Hold on, I'm still trying to touch this bar that Banner just raised. You can wear leather on every single piece of your body except for one, and that is your penis, because no leather or rubber should ever go on that. You raw dog it, everything, and then you just hope after that, really. It's that simple.
What closes the deal more automatically with chicks? All denim or all leather?
Depends on what chick, but yes.
Nice. Everyone at home's learning a lot today. All right, guys, if you have not listened to our show before, or even if you have, you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. And if you're listening to this pod, then I'm sure you've also heard by now that Robert Pattinson of the Twilight franchise and several other acclaimed dramatic roles in the past 4 or 5 years has been pegged by DC to don the cape and cowl and star as the titular character in Matt Reeves', I'm going to call it an elusive, The Batman movie, which is supposedly coming out now in 2021. Now, on this pod, we have, of course, threatened to burn our houses down and kill ourselves after this dramatic news. But it got some of us thinking, what are some of the most controversial casting announcements that when they came out, we all said, what the fuck? And some of them might have turned out really well, and some of them might have turned out, what the fuck, I guess is just the other way to put it. Because this Robert Pattinson thing, I don't want to say it's polarizing yet. I feel like more people are being negative about it. But, dude, I've been so wrong so many times before on casting that why couldn't this just be another opportunity? So the question is twofold. First off, I guess let's all go around and say what we think of the Robert Pattinson announcement as Batman. Matt, you are the resident DC guy on the show. When this news broke, what were your thoughts?
So I do this a lot. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt and come up with an idea, but then my idea is way cooler than what they do, and then I usually shit on it on the review of the movie. But I'm going to do this again. I don't really have a problem with Robert Pattinson, and this is why. He sucked in Twilight. I don't try to hold that against actors or actresses. I don't know, taking consideration Zac Efron. I mean, he had to do his little teeny bopper shit to get in Hollywood, and now he's doing some serious acting, and he's doing really well. Robert Pattinson, I haven't seen any of his movies. I watched the first Twilight in high school so I could get laid, and I watched the second Twilight in college so I could get laid. But after that, I haven't seen any of his fucking movies, but I've heard they're good. This is why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because they're stupid enough to do this, but I don't think it's going to be about Bruce Wayne. I think he's going to play Dick Grayson. I think he might play Damian Wayne. He might play Jason Todd. He might play a McGinnis and do a Batman Beyond. I just think the Bruce Wayne story, there's two things that can go bad. It can be like Spider-Man where they fuck it up time after time, or the Bruce Wayne story, in my opinion, I think they've nailed time after time. I think Michael Keaton was great. I think Christian Bale was great. I think Affleck's adaptation of it was great. How can you be better than any of that? And you're always going to be compared to it. Give us something different. Give us something fresh. Put Dick Grayson in it. It's called The Batman. But Batman isn't always Bruce Wayne, as we know in the comics. And if you don't, fucking Google it. But I think that he'll play a younger Batman, not a younger Bruce Wayne. And I think he'll be Dick Grayson or Damian Wayne, or he'll be McGinnis or something along those lines. And I think that could be cool. I don't have a problem with Reeves. He did really well in the Planet of the Apes series. So just don't cast Josh Gad as Penguin.
That's what I was going to ask next. It's been announced that Penguin and Catwoman will be. It said we'll have appearances from several of Batman's rogues gallery, but Penguin and Catwoman are confirmed. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's straight off Batman Returns. I think they should have mixed up the villains a little more. My more concern is I hope to God they don't connect this to the Justice League, because that's a huge I mean, Affleck is supposed to play a weird, grizzy, older Batman. I guess the only way they could do this is somehow Affleck's dead and he is Dick Grayson or someone like that. That would make sense. I have no problem with Penguin and Catwoman. I mean, I would think Catwoman has already kind of got her day. We've seen her fucking twice. You could do something different. I'd like a Poison Ivy. I think we're already getting that in Birds of Prey. However, does it connect? Could we have two different Poison Ivies? I don't fucking know. I don't think Warner Brothers even knows at this point. I'm fine with that. Just not Josh Gad. Please, for the love of God. Our best Penguin is already gone. Philip Seymour Hoffman was our best bet.
Josh Gad wants it so bad, it's almost like you can't give it to him.
You can't, dude. When you petition for it that hard, and no one thinks it, yeah, no.
Banner, what do you think? You've been sitting over there eerily quiet.
Yeah, I think Robert Pattinson is a good actor. I don't think that he. I don't think he's going to be good in this role. When I think of Batman, whether it's, I really like your idea, Matt, of having him not be Bruce Wayne. But even if it is Bruce Wayne or whoever, when you think Batman, you think of somebody that's going to be. They have to have this certain look and this certain persona about them, and he just doesn't protrude that. Like, when you look at James Bond, they have to have that look, that feel. Same with Bruce Wayne or even Batman in general. Robert Pattinson doesn't have that. He's a great actor. He's had some great roles. He's done a great job. Again, he did what he had to do to get his name out there, and then they're like, okay, we're going to give you a shot, and he took a shot. One of my favorite dramatic roles or movies is one that he's in. It's called Remember Me, about 9/11. He is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic.
Pierce Brosnan in that one?
I believe it's Pierce Brosnan, yeah.
Okay, and he plays
his dad.
There is a twist in it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the twist?
No, that's not the twist.
Okay.
The twist is when it is, which I may have just said. I don't know. I'm a little drunk. But you guys should really check that out. It's a great movie. And, again, he's a great actor. It's nothing against him. It's just a bad casting. If Josh Gad is in this, I will not go see it. But I will predict that if it's Bruce Wayne's storyline, it's going to be Josh Gad as the Penguin and Megan Fox as Catwoman.
I always forget how much you hate Josh Gad. Because remember on our
Banner.
Banner.
Yes.
On our beauty.
I hate him too.
Oh wow! On our Beauty and the Beast review, Banner had some serious issues.
I have so many fucking problems with that guy.
The only thing I'll add to that is, I think Geiger you actually made this point too, Banner, but a great point. Like, so, okay, Twilight, right? Of course, that movie the franchise has been shit on over and over. It's cringeworthy, but every actor in Hollywood has done something to really get their start or get their name into the public consciousness and that cultural zeitgeist. And yeah, if you asked Robert Pattinson what he thought about Twilight, I guarantee you, in fact, I think there are interviews where he's like, yeah, those movies are fucking awful, but they paid me a shit ton, and because of it,
he got to fuck Kristen Stewart on screen, so like that's a win-win.
Okay, possibly, yeah. But I think that's the point. Is it's not like Robert Pattinson himself wrote the character of Edward Cullen and said, as in, a thespian, this is my calling to play him. Because I've seen him in The Lost City of Z and Remember Me, and he's pretty damn good in both those movies. I think I'm with you, Brian. I just don't see him as a Bruce Wayne or a Batman, but I'm fucking stupid. I said the same thing about Affleck, and I ate my words on that one. And once I get to one of the, here in a second, on a controversial casting that I was against that turned out to be incredible, and I was on record as saying this other guy sucked. It was in a Batman movie. Kind of a spoiler there. So I'm not good at casting these things, fan casting it. That's more Geiger's speed. But if you made me bet right now, will he be good in this movie? I would say, yeah, definitely. All right. Before we move on, a couple controversial castings. We have a list that I put together that we don't need to read, but do either of you guys have one positive, negative, or both? Like a casting that doesn't even necessarily have to be in a superhero movie, but like this, when it was announced, you were like, holy shit, what are they doing? And you were either damn right, like, yep, that was a horrible mistake, or you completely had to eat your words. One that you can remember. Geiger, you first.
Mine has to be Eisenberg and BVS. However, I don't hate him as much as you guys do in it.
I can't fucking stand him.
I get what they were doing. This is why I had a big problem with it. It was just on a tee for them to have Cranston do it. It was just ending Breaking Bad. He couldn't have been any fucking higher. He's bald. He looks like him. He's menacing. He's a great actor. It's just, and it fits the age demographic they're going at, because Lex is about Bruce's, probably a little older than Bruce's age. We have an old grizzled Bruce Wayne. It was just on a tee to bring him in, just like it was on a tee to bring in Michael C. Hall in the third Batman as the Riddler once Dexter was over, and they kind of missed the boat on that. I was just really surprised. I was like, Eisenberg, I'm like, I don't understand this at all. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, I get that he's supposed to be like this tech mobile that started Google in his garage almost kind of guy, but
he was supposed to be like Mark Zuckerberg, and I got what they were doing. I just didn't like it. I didn't think it worked.
Yeah, but Mark Zuckerberg isn't Lex Luthor. They tried to rewrite the comics, but all the other characters, they were going along with the comics, so it didn't really make sense. It was just really surprising to me because as fan casting, and I can't remember if Cranston was pulling for it or not on Twitter or anything like that, but everyone was like, dude, this Cranston's getting it, right? I mean, he's right off Breaking Bad, the hottest TV show ever. And he's bald. He looks like him. He'd be fucking perfect for it. And I don't even know if he read for it. I still don't know if he even was looked at by Snyder. But that was one of my most surprising ones.
That Jolly Rancher scene on the basketball court. I'm like, what? Why? It's cherry, and like pops it in the guy's mouth. Like that was Eisenberg. Like, God, this is gonna fucking work on so many levels. And in theaters, you're just like, dude, it doesn't though.
The other two I got, and they're both comedies, and I was kind of surprised at the time because both these roles I thought would fit someone like Ryan Reynolds, and I didn't know these two were funny, and that was Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street. I was like,
very good one.
I was like, why? I was like, I like Channing Tatum, but I don't.
Yeah, the dude from Step Up, get the fuck out of here.
And then Zac Efron, once again, I've always thought there was something to him, but he just did teeny bopper movies. But him and Neighbors, I'm like, dude, this guy is fucking hilarious. And then if you've seen the new Ted Bundy, he's going to be in like Tarantino's type fucking films coming up. Like he's like a Leo. I think that he basically did like Growing Pains and all that shit when he's younger. Okay, now I'm in Hollywood. Now it's time for me to play because I'm actually talented. But both of those two, I was kind of surprised how, 21 Jump Street is one of my favorite comedies, and Channing Tatum is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, this is a good point, kind of now becoming the theme of the episode. But like all these guys start from a point like that. Like Ryan Gosling was in the Mickey Mouse Club coming up. So there you go. Banner, I know you were also in the Mickey Mouse Club.
I was. It was best time of my life.
Then
unfortunately, I didn't get to fuck.
Where did Mickey touch you again?
Yeah. It wasn't where Justin touched Brittany, unfortunately.
Speaking of all denim, one of the best photos ever.
Yeah.
Them on that red carpet. Sorry, Banner.
One controversial ending that did end up sucking. Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3. Jeff, we were living together when this got announced, and he was on that 70s show. We obviously knew there was all that controversy, but that show was fucking killing it at the time. He quit the show to be fucking Eddie Brock.
Or I watched Spider-Man 3 this past week, And he always
Why?
introduces himself as, because it was on TV, and I don't know. He always introduced himself as Edward Brock.
Is everything okay at home?
It's actually not. We'll talk later.
Okay. Yeah, Eddie Brock is supposed to be like a 5'0" fucking boulder, strong guy. And Topher Grace is like 6 foot tall, 130 pounds soaking wet.
When they cast him, yeah, everyone was like, what is this?
Well, the biggest thing is he fucking quit a very successful show to do that. Like, oh, I'm going to focus on my movie career. Oh, awesome. You did that in Ocean's 11? Okay.
I mean, we're going to give him credit for Ocean's 11. He's in like one
He played himself. In
Yeah.
That's my point. He quit that 70s show to do that. It's fucking stupid. That was one that I mean, it's not that bold, it's not that crazy, but it was just fucking terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible.
Do you have a good one in mind, or just just him?
I mean, I think Robert Downey Jr. going into Iron Man, that's kind of low-hanging fruit as well. People were kind of like, well, what the fuck? You know, he's this drug addict. He's had all these problems, and you're going to give him this role. And, I mean, look where he took that. I mean, check out just the MCU in general. He made it what it was. I think that's a really good one that at the time in 2008, whenever, what was it, 2006 when they cast him, everybody's kind of like, what the fuck? And it worked out. So I think that's a positive one.
That is a
still
good
more
one.
fucking pissed about the negative one. It's so fucking stupid.
I have one bad, one good one. My bad one, and I don't remember this being as controversial at the time. I remember this person was a relative nobody because he only did the movie Life as a House. But Hayden Christensen being cast as Anakin in the prequels.
It's not his fault, though.
Dude, if you look at the role of Anakin, it is really like set up to make someone kill themselves. Like Jake Lloyd, obviously, his life went to shit because of the prequels. Wasn't he like notoriously bullied in like elementary school on the playground?
Dude,
Yeah.
I just thought of this. Hayden Christensen can't even get an NCIS fucking gig on TV, man. Chris O'Donnell.
He turned them down.
I heard he didn't get a call back, and he lives below me. I can go ask him.
Where did you hear that?
I
Fucking
don't know.
prop.
Fucking TMZ. What have they ever reported that's right? I'll wait.
Yeah, so Hayden Christensen was one for me, and dude, I feel so bad because he really is the only one. Even everyone's like, "Well, the script was shit." I was like, "Dude, he's the only one who didn't get out of those movies alive." Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, fuck, even Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson got out of it.
Parted it. I mean, he's been killing Serbian human traffickers for the past 15
Fuck,
years.
Darth Maul even got another role. I mean,
Yeah,
he
dude,
did
Ray
Solo.
Park played Toad in X-Men. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, the script writing is bad, and his line's probably the most cringeworthy. But when he got cast, people were like, this guy's going to be fucking Darth Vader. And then a year and a half in, they were like, actually, no, he's not. I don't know who this whiny bitch with a ponytail is, but not my Vader. And then a really good one that ended up being really good, controversial casting. Look, I pride myself on admitting when I'm wrong, and this was as wrong as I've ever been. Brian can remember this in college. When Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker,
You were so pissed.
I was like the fucking dude from 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's
Like-
because you never seen Monsters Ball.
Well, see, that's what people could be saying about Robert Pattinson in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Heath Ledger's smile. I thought he was going to be great when it was.
I liked A Knight's Tale, but like again, that performance is so transformative. There's no way you could watch anything he'd ever done before and imagine that he could do that. Like even his best movies, because that role is, I still think, the greatest performance I've ever seen on film in my life. So again, the point here is controversial casting sometimes works out, and then sometimes you get Edward Brock Jr. from the Daily Bugle
Shut the fuck up.
with fangs. I forgot about that. Why?
So fucking stupid.
Because when it didn't make any fucking
Stop.
sense. Because when Peter Parker had the symbiote, he didn't have
It
fangs.
doesn't.
No, he just had a comb over and listened to My American Reject or whatever the fuck he was listening to in a salsa bar.
Good shot.
Yeah, good Charlie.
Yeah. This is like post-traumatic stress triggering itself. All right, that does it for our chest day topic, and we move on to the second part of our show. our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, aka what have we watched lately. I got a really light week. Banner, I'm assuming, as is tradition, you got quite a bit. So what's in your cup? What have you watched?
So I may have repeated this because I might have said it last episode, but I also might not have. I don't really remember. So Netflix had a show called Jailbirds. I don't know if I talked about it last week. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Like I said, I forgot. But I have this weird like obsession with people being in jail and seeing how they live. This is about the San Francisco County or Sacramento County in Northern California, their jail system and what it's like to live in jail. They have these inmates. They follow a lot more of the female inmates than they do the male inmates, which is even more fascinating because those bitches are savage. They've got all kinds of crazy ways to communicate with each other through the fucking toilet system, and they fall in love with each other because they're talking into a fucking toilet bowl. It's absolutely crazy. There's only 6 episodes. It's pretty quick. This one chick her name is Monster, and she has Monster tattooed where her eyebrow used to be.
Monster Energy, if you're listening, this sponsorship opportunity only comes along once in a fucking lifetime, okay?
I'm not going to say it's a good watch. It's just a watch. It's like those locked up shows. But I enjoyed it because
it's a series or
it's a series. It's like 6 episodes, 45 minutes each, something like that.
They're in the same prison the whole time.
Yeah, they're either downtown or they're at what they call the branch, which is like their bigger offsite for the people that aren't in trial right now. But lots of lesbian stuff, dude. It's fucking crazy. Like, I'm not gonna recommend you guys see it, but if you're bored and have nothing better to do, yeah, maybe pop it in. I also watched John Wick 3 came out this week. Haven't seen that yet, but I watched the first one and the second one back to back.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love it.
I knew you
my
would,
God.
Dude.
So I'm not a big fan of Keanu Reeves. This is how I want my Keanu Reeves. Doesn't talk much, but kills a bunch of people. And it's fucking awesome. The way that they shot this, it's not that choppy, like, flashing from here to there on all the fight scenes and everything like that. Like, they actually choreographed it. Fantastic choreographing, fantastic cinematography. I don't talk about that a lot. The score is amazing in these. Yeah. The storylines are great. Yeah.
2 things I got to say about John Wick, both of them. Actually, 3 things. First one, we have to do movie commentaries on the first 2. It's the most bro movie of all time. Second off, how fucking cool is the Continental Hotel?
So fucking cool. If HBO actually pulls it off and makes a show about it, I'm so far up that thing's ass, it's not even funny.
Same. And third off, how awesome is it how John Wick basically insists on killing people with their own weapon, whether it's throwing their knife back at them or his signature move where he like grabs their gun, turns it in their own chest and shoots them. He's like, I brought my gun, but I mean, why not? You will probably prefer I use yours, right?
Yeah,
he'll get out in court doing that, dude.
Yeah,
it's actually really smart.
Plausible, yeah, plausible. Yeah.
So I watched both of those. Absolutely amazing. I need to check the third one out. Just haven't gotten around to it because basically where I live is just exploding with tornadoes and floods right now. So that's fun. Also watch, I think I talked about this when I watched the first season. Second season just dropped this weekend. Watched the entire season of it. It's called The Rain on Netflix. It's the first Danish Netflix original show. It's all dubbed over. If you watch it with subtitles, they're not going to match what they actually say. So it takes a little bit getting used to. But
I thought you were going to say, so you have to learn Danish, which I don't doubt you would do. I took a Rosetta Stone, and now I'm fucking good to go.
I'm ready to go. Guys, it's a really good show. Pretty quick watch again. I think each season is only 6 episodes, maybe 50 minutes long, 45. Very, very interesting. Basically, it follows a brother and sister through a post-apocalyptic time. There's a virus in water, so anybody that touches water dies, so you have to avoid that. Took a turn where it doesn't really apply to any of the water. In fact, I don't even think it rained once in the second season, so the second season isn't about the actual rain. Takes some pretty cool twists and turns. You can kind of see them coming, but very interesting. They obviously set it up for a third season that I'm pretty sure is going to get greenlit. You guys should check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then on Nate Thurman's suggestion, he said this, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. It was a while ago. He watched Sex Education with Ozzy.
Oh yeah, he's been talking about this for a while.
Guys, I bought into it. No joke. In 24 hours, I've watched 6 of the 8 episodes.
Also, Butterfield is trying to be funny though. That's hard for me to.
He's not trying to be funny though. It's actually a really good.
He's
show.
the straight man.
Kinda. You just have to watch it. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a slapstick funny about high school kids wanting and trying to have sex. It is not that at all, guys. It's a really good show. There's actually some pretty serious subject matter that they don't dance around. They just take it full on, and it is what it is, about friendship and kind of growing up in high school and dealing with things. It is British. So it's a little bit different than what we know here in America.
Geiger just said out.
Yeah, but it fucking works. I suggest it. I know Geiger's not going to watch it, so I'll just email you the cliff notes for you to delete.
I picture Geiger and the British. It's like that Reno 911 episode where the child molester has to go door to door, where he just says, "Hey, British people, you stay over there, and I'll stay over here.
Stay over here."
We won't have any.
What
It's basically what this sheet says.
And then on Cycly's suggestion, I'm also getting through the 2nd season of Barry on HBO. Again, guys, great show. Bill Hader is absolutely fantastic. He wrote, executive produced, direct, stars, everything that you can possibly think of. Bill Hader does it, and he's great in it. It's a really fun show. Unfortunately, he does not the best part of it. NoHo Hank is. Cycly knows what I'm talking about.
That's not Henry Winkler's acting coach, is it?
No, that's not Henry Winkler's the acting coach. This is a Chetnian. I don't want to say like mafia or crime lord, because he's not. He's a Chetnian, and he's really, really fucking funny. So you guys need to check all that out. Except for Jailbirds, you don't need to check that one out.
So I'll ask this: now that Thrones is over, is Barry the best show on HBO?
It's either that or Ballers.
Well, I was going to say, I know Brent Barry
Ballers really falling down.
Keeps urging us to watch that Chernobyl show also, which obviously is like a mini series. I don't think that's something.
Yeah, I don't know that I can get into that though. But Barry might be the best thing. I don't know, man. They've got a lot on there that I haven't seen that looks interesting. That that new show coming on there with Zendaya on it, that looks interesting.
Big Little Lies.
Yeah, Big Little Lies is getting another season, and that's a good show too. I watched that with the wife. That's a good one.
I didn't watch season 2, but the season 3 trailer for Westworld just came out. Aaron Paul's in it. Supposedly it's like a completely different direction they're going.
Yeah, I didn't watch 2nd season. I watched like 2 episodes. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking out on this. I want to remember it as being good. So maybe I'll go back and watch that. But.
See, that's the nice thing, not to rub it in your face, but I still have those fond memories. Which is great. Is that all you got, Banner?
Yeah, it was a light week.
All right, Geiger. What's in your cup? Would you watch lately?
So since the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood trailer dropped, which I've been on record saying this is going to be the greatest Tarantino movie ever, so I decided.
It's your most anticipated film of the year, right?
Yeah, and it'll be better than Pulp Fiction. It'll be better than Reservoir Dogs. Woo! But since I said that, I've decided to rewatch Tarantino movies. Now, this is his 9th movie, technically, that he's written and directed, but I'm talking about any movie that Tarantino has written in, been a part of at all. I started with Django and Inglourious Bastards, basically because I wanted to see Leo and Brad Pitt, because he's been basically petitioning them to do this movie since both of those movies shot, because he wanted them to be the stars. The movie I want to talk about, though, and not that I forgot about this, but I haven't watched it in a really long time, is From Dusk Till Dawn, which is actually a Robert Rodriguez film that Tarantino stars in and does some writing in. And a lot of people wonder what George Clooney did before Ocean's 11, and a lot of people just remember Batman and ER, but he is fucking great in this.
I think it's one of his best roles.
Can I make an argument about From Dusk Till Dawn? First off, I'll just 2 words, Selma Hayek. I'll leave that there.
Yeah, I was getting to her, too.
Second off, no movie in the history of movies has a bigger tonal shift halfway through it than
Yep.
From Dusk Till Dawn. It's two films.
And what's great about it is I remember the first time I saw this, it was in high school when I first really started to not be like, you know, the Tarantino fan, like the Led Zeppelin fan that only knows 4 of their songs and doesn't know the other 80 million that they have. I started really getting into all of his movies. Anything he did, I wanted to watch. I remember watching this one. I was living with 3 of my friends, and when that happened, I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. And I fucking dug it, man. It was just kind of almost an outlaw movie at first when they're just trying to run the law and get to Mexico. Then it turns into a straight up fucking zombie movie. It was fantastically done.
Yeah, somehow
Juliette
it
Lewis-
works.
Yeah. If you
does, yeah.
told me, hey, we're gonna have a Western that is also a zombie movie, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I'd rather go watch Chopping Mall. But this fucking works.
Check out our movie commentary on Shopping Mall. It's
No,
incredible.
don't do that. Like, we
Some of
want
the other-
to keep you as a fan.
Some of the other cast in it though has been in a couple others, but Danny Trio is always great.
Harvey
Juliette
Keitel,
Lewis-
right?
Harvey Keitel's in it. Juliette Lewis, who's also in Natural Born Killers, that he wrote for Oliver Stone, which I'm going to watch probably next. But there's a lot of movies that aren't part of his 9. True Romance, probably one of my favorite ones ever that he wrote. Jackie Brown. There's a bunch of ones that are just fantastically done. I'm really excited to watch Reservoir Dogs because I haven't seen it probably in about 8 years, start to finish. It's been on
I've
TV
only
a couple
seen
times.
it once.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen it in high school and college. I watched it a lot. I probably saw it on DVD. I don't know where it's at, but it's a great movie. It's one that, well, really any Tarantino movie, it's really hard to watch on television because it takes out all the fucks.
Yeah, they
and it
neuter
takes
the
out all the
fuck out
killing.
of it. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know
But I
that they were
rewatched
allowed
this
to
whole
put it on
portfolio,
TV.
guys. But I still think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he took his time with this. He's had this script for years. He's just been waiting for the right time, the right cast. He's been plotting Leo and Brad Pitt to do this. Leo, I'm guessing, brought in Margot Robbie. Kurt Russell's in this motherfucker. Luke Perry, it's his last film. Al Pacino's in this. It has a better cast than Pulp Fiction. I don't know what you guys consider his best film to be. His most popular film, his pop film, is definitely Pulp Fiction. I think Reservoir Dogs or True Romance is better than that, but I think it's going to be better than all of them.
I think oh man, that's tough. My favorite performance in any of his movies might be Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards, but
yeah,
I'd have to go back and revisit a lot of them.
He's also great in Django, though, because he
I
plays
know,
a good guy in Django.
I know he's just so different from his character in Inglourious Bastards. His fucking carriage with the tooth on top of it alone is pretty great.
Dr. Scholl's.
The shows.
The only problem I have with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is that he's not in it, as far as I know. Christopher Waltz is not in it.
Yeah, I'm worried people maybe were like, all right, dude, we get it. You guys like to work together. But I'm not.
I thought if anyone should play Charles Manson, it should have been him.
Yeah? Interesting. Does he have an American accent he can do? Because I've never heard it.
I think he could probably do you better than you do you.
I actually am Christoph Waltz.
This has been Christoph Waltz this entire 4 years. That's
Holy
what Jeff
shit.
Hornacek is.
That's how committed I am. Method podding is what it is called. Anything else, Geiger?
No, I'm good.
That's a good lead up. I should probably go back and do that. Okay. Sorry to kind of backtrack. Did you say because I can't remember if he wrote and directed Natural Born Killers.
He just wrote it. Oliver Stone directed it.
Got it. Okay. I knew he was involved. I couldn't remember if he was a writer director. On that.
You'd be surprised some of the ones he wrote. He wrote Hostel. He did some writings in that film. He did some writings in Little Nicky, and he was in it too.
The fuck? He was in Little Nicky, really?
I didn't know he was in Little Nicky.
I'm pretty sure he was in it. I know he did some writing on it. I thought he was in it for a second too. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it. So if you know better, just comment. I'm not going to go back and rewatch that atrocity.
So he said he's doing 10 films. This is going to be his 9th, but he has also come out and said that because he's a huge Star Trek fan and he really wants to do Star Trek 4. So he has said if he gets tapped to write and direct that, he's not going to count that as one of his 10.
Yeah, and he doesn't count the ones he just writes or he, I guess From Dusk Till Dawn he technically co-starred in.
Has he
count
ever
those. It has to
directed?
be written and directed. It has to be a Quentin Tarantino film, start to finish. I wrote it, I directed it, I casted it. That's what he considers his films.
I wonder if he has, or if he ever would direct a film not with his script, like with someone else's screenplay.
Not a chance.
I don't think he's ever done that. I
There's
think
no way he would.
He's written a lot and then given it to like Oliver Stone and people, or Robert Rodriguez. I mean, them two, Planet Terror, they double teamed. You know, where Tarantino would write it, he'd direct it. Same from Dusk Till Dawn. But
People were like,
I don't think he'd do that.
I've heard people say, "Oh, well, if he gets to do Star Trek, like, how's he going to even be able to do that?" And I was like, "Well, he's like not a 2-year-old. Like, he could write a script where Captain Kirk doesn't say like "fuck this shit" every 2 seconds. Like, he can."
Well, and I don't know if I'm way out of line by saying this, but is he that great of a director? I mean, it's more so we like the dialogue.
His dialogue is just incredible.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, his directing isn't like holy shit. It's. I mean, he's a good director, but it's more of his dialogue and his writing and basically his character arcs that we dig so much.
Did you like The Hateful Eight? Because I loved it, but I can do people who hate it. I can get it's slow as molasses.
It's way too slow for me.
It's too slow
for Western, and it just takes place in one spot the whole time. I get bored with it.
But how cool is it when that one surprise thing happens and that one surprise
that was
guy
cool.
shows up?
I'm not going to shit on it because the people that like it, I understand why they liked it. It was just, I mean, you have to be in a certain mood to watch that movie. I can watch Pulp Fiction in pretty much any mood. I can watch Reservoir Dogs in pretty much any mood.
Yeah. All right. So my protein shake is pretty light. I only have 2 things. Deadpool. It was on FX. Watched it from start to finish. They did one of those. This is one thing I love. Not one thing. I mean, there's a lot of things I love about FX, but they are ballsy enough to, like a movie like Deadpool, they did the, before it came back from commercial every time, that mature content thing. So it was basically unedited on FX. Like, he said all the fucks and shits. And
nice.
Every joke in this movie works, man. It's like, when you go back and revisit it, it's kind of hard to believe how even when you know, this is the mark of a good comedy movie, when you know a joke is coming and it still makes you laugh. Everything with him and Colossus is so great because they're polar opposites. I think one of my favorite scenes is when Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead go, like, they see on the news that like that big fight's happening on the overpass, and they show up, and at first he makes the joke like, where the other X-Men, were they not in the budget for this? And Colossus is like, you've caused enough damage. And he's like, no one's getting hurt here. And that guy's half of his body falls from the traffic sign. And he goes, that guy was already up here when I got here. Also, the best line in the whole movie, I have to say, very beginning, when he's fighting all those dudes with Ajax in the SUV, and he shoves the car lighter in that guy's mouth and puts his hand over it, and he goes, I've never said this before, but don't swallow. Get it? It's like sex. So Deadpool, go back and revisit it. Actually, we did a movie commentary on Deadpool. I forgot this.
Did we?
Yeah, the first one.
Cool.
Check it out.
Guys.
Well, fucking click over, tab out on YouTube. Keep this up, and pause that, and then you'll come to.
We need the listing time.
I was gonna say we need the views for money reasons. So. Just play both of them. Just mute one, but keep playing it. Watch the other one.
Good. Not at all self-serving instructions there. And then the other movie that I watched, I'm actually kind of lying because it has like 15 minutes left, but I think I get where it's going. And that is Wine Country on Netflix. I don't know if
is
you guys
that
have
good?
seen it.
Netflix is shoving it on my fucking throat right now.
It is pretty good. The cast is basically every female SNL cast member on like the 2001 season.
It's an Amy Poehler movie, right?
Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Tina Fey, Anna Gasteyer, Rachel Dratch.
Good God.
I think that's pretty much it. But it's rated R, and they're basically like, it's Rachel Dratch's 50th birthday, and she wants to book this like trip to Napa to go like on vineyards, and they show up and they all just get like really, really fucked up. Tina Fey is the person who like runs the Airbnb that they stay at, and she's like, yeah, my husband died last year from a heart attack. He was 48. They're like, oh my God, that's so young. I'm sorry. She goes, yeah, not really a surprise. We do a lot of blow. Like, okay. She's She's basically just a full-time Airbnb host. She has like 4 or 5 properties who like doesn't give a fuck about anything. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, that sounds like she's living the dream.
But the thing I like about it, they got all these girls together, but it doesn't feel like Bridesmaids, where Bridesmaids kind of had that like, hey, we can act like the men in The Hangover and still be funny. Like these girls are just funny on their own. Like
it's not like a girl power kind of a movie.
Right. Obviously on SNL, like Anna Gasteyer, her and Will Ferrell had some incredible scenes together. I haven't seen her in much since then, but she's awesome in this.
I don't know if your significant others loves Bridesmaids, but whenever my wife watches it, I'm like, God, I just want to destroy this because it's just ripped off The Hangover. It's not as good. But I just like pat her on the head. I'm like, I'll let you have this one. And I just go play golf.
I feel like my fiance is actually starting to see some of the warts in Bridesmaids.
It's not that good a movie.
Like when Melissa McCarthy clearly burps and then says, I'm sorry, I don't know which end that came out of. I'm like, you fucking burped, all right?
It's like, not that funny, I don't think. But,
you know,
what do I know?
I'm going to sound like a sexist fucking pig. You know who's the funniest in that movie? Chris O'Dowd, the police officer. He's like the fuck.
You're a fucking pig, Hornacek.
I'm sick.
You're a goddamn pig.
I'm gonna die alone.
I think John Hamm's kind of funny.
You're part of the problem.
He's like, man, I want to ask you to leave, but I don't know how to say it without sounding like a dick. I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm in love with Rose Byrne. Does that count as a compliment, or is that just more misogynistic and worse?
I think you're fine.
Weird that you didn't side against me there.
Now, Mean Girls is funny.
Mean Girls is awesome.
Mean Girls is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, be on the lookout. Coming up, beginning of the school year, dropping that movie commentary. Guy, you remember that? Didn't think so.
Nope.
Amy Poehler's like I'm too cool of a mom to like not be in jail. It's a great character.
So fucking hilarious in that.
We talk a little Amy Poehler. She's got that like crazy, ridiculous boob job.
And those like pink sweatpants. When I say pink, like the brand pink.
Yeah.
All right, that moves us on to the last part of our show. But before we go there, Banner, did you have a question?
Fuck, yeah, hold on. I got to read the show notes, see what the question is. But, brah. That wasn't good. Let me do that again. Brah.
Ooh. Snapped it off at the end. And that is our Do You Even Lift Bra segment, where we comb the internet.
Hit before.
You what?
Hit an octave I've never hit before on that one.
I didn't even think that note existed till then.
Welcome.
This is where we dig up a question from around the internet and we answer it on our show because we can do whatever we want. And our question today comes to us from Bruce Crawford at Bruce Crawford 1, who says, do y'all think it is true that sometimes a film studio needs to make a bad film to make a great film? It's sad but true sometimes. Geiger, I think you and I have actually talked about this before. What do you think about this? Like, we always talk about how competition brings out the best in you, right? But Batman and Robin gave us Batman Begins, right? That might be the most tangible example of this. If you fuck up so bad, you're like, okay, we got carried away.
I agree with this. I think that I agree with it more during the Batman and Robin, Batman Begin days. Now it just seems like they're just looking at their catalog and like, what can we remake or basically reboot or just something and throw it out there to try to get some fucking money and just rehash shit. But you definitely got to learn from your mistakes, especially when you dive in to something like, superhero films, obviously, or even like musical films that are really hot right now with Bohemian Rhapsody. The Dirt, Motley Crue is on Netflix. Elton John's coming out, Rocket Man movie in a week or two, I believe. You know, you got to kind of see what people like. However, once you find what people like, and we've seen this in the superhero movie genre, then they're going to shove it down your throat. And basically every superhero movie is basically the same. They kind of have the same recipe for all of them, and then it gets stale and it's not as fresh. But it takes a while to actually find, what audiences resonates with people and what doesn't. But then when you're dealing with different characters that are beloved that really you don't know anything about, you just bought properties to, or you bought like the rights to this band's book, and you got to somehow read that book and recreate what the author did, or recreate what that comic book person did. And yeah, man, it's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of errors you got to do. You just got to learn from them, which is something Warner Brothers and DC hasn't done very well in the past, or really in the present either. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So this is the crazy thing about Batman and Robin, because I don't think this would happen now. So it had a budget of 125 million, and it still made 238 million, which, considering how fucking bad that movie is, check out our movie commentary on Batman and Robin, by the way. Like, that's incredible. And sometimes I think studios can listen too much to fan reaction. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, the trailer comes out, people don't like the look of him, and they're like, all right, fine, we promise we'll change it. Like, that stuff I don't really like. But I don't know. Sometimes I do think studios have to make a fucking horrid film to figure out their mistakes. But at the same time, like, if people go see it, we're going to get 5 or 6 movies like the Transformers. So money talks, I think, more than critical opinion does for them. Banner, how about you?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. If a movie is going to make $5, the studio's willing to make it. And I think the actors are willing to show up. And if they're not willing to show up, some dude off the street that's, selling fucking coffee right now, he's a barista, but that's only on the side because he's really an actor. They'll show up to do a shitty fucking movie. But I think an example of where you have a bad movie and it produces a good movie out of it, again, it's still in the superhero genre, but you have X-Men Origins Wolverine. Very easily the worst movie in that franchise. In a franchise that has a few flops. But out of that, you have Mangold, who did The Wolverine, which I think is a very strong, underrated movie. And then obviously you have Logan, bringing that character to an end. And I think that without X-Men Origins, we wouldn't appreciate what we had in those 2 movies and really what we had in a character. And then again, you can never just shout out to Hugh Jackman just for always being willing to play fucking ball over the 20 years that he was that character, 17 years or whatever it was. But I think that's a good one that you see a really bad fucking movie and then they're like, okay, wait a minute, we have to fix this. And they go and produce 2 solid movies after that.
I think to your point with that one also, like, the way they set up even the title, X-Men Origins, Wolverine, like, they were going to plan on making a lot more of those.
Yeah, they were going to... Well, Cyclops was in pre-production when that one came out, and they're like, never mind, they put a quick halt to that. So, yeah, again, I think that because you got such a bad fucking movie out of it, and there was so much backlash from the fans that it stopped them from making a fuck ton of mistakes.
Good on Hugh Jackman for just willing to play ball. He read that script and still fucking showed up to work. All right, guys, before we close, leave the people for our 76th episode. Any parting words, Geiger? Actually, that sounded like I was about to murder you, but any parting words?
Game of Thrones sucks.
It's past tense now.
Check out our review.
Banner, winter has come and gone. Any last words from you?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that show anymore. It's in the past. I only look to the future.
It doesn't matter!
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
It's in the past! And on that quote from Rafiki, we have been the Bro Force Squad.
That movie's
podcast.
Gonna suck too.
Bite your tongue. For our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, and the mad scientist, Brian Banner, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Broforce Squad. You want to check out all of our reviews on letterboxd.com.
What?
Type in Broforce Squad. 3 words. You can find us there. If you type in those same 3 words on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, you can find all of our content, and we also put all of it on our website at broforcesquad.com. Thank you guys again. Until next time, we'll catch you at the movies.
Geiger, have you figured out what this letter thing is? Like, is it like writing down stuff and putting it in the mail? I'm confused.
Redbox? It's where you can go to, like, McDonald's and rent movies. So.